Whew. Hey, hi. Not gonna be a funny one. Not a comedy one. Um, I am sick of in America. I'm an American. Party politics, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. Um, Tired of them. They don't. They're both founded in artifice. They don't really allow for any kind of political progress, and they exist solely to distract and divide. You have to stop your allegiance to either of these. It doesn't matter which one, and it really doesn't. And that's the problem. Is there's I mean, throughout history, we've had people warn us about this. People who are really serious business, people you should listen to. I mean, most famously, off the top of the head, George Washington, in his farewell speech at the end of his presidency, told us that this was a bad way to go. That party politics in general was a bad way to go. That political parties in general were a cancer. And he didn't even. And his words now read like prophecy because they've come true. But he didn't even envision a system where it's just the two, and it's only the two, and they never go away, and they never falter. And that's really the most insidious element of it, is the fact that we have the two, and it's always the same two. And the problem with it, the real problem with it, for me, and well, for you too, for everybody, is that you can see it in the adherents, in my fellow fucking citizens who cheerlead and quarterback for these fucking two parties. I mean, right now, as I'm saying this, the political climate, I think, is the best illustration of why it's a problem. I guess that's why I'm making this. Because you have Republicans who just all voted for isolationism, for America first, less government spending, less foreign spending, and no new wars. I mean, they all said this through an entire election cycle. That's what they were voting for. That's who they were voting for. And now they have a president they elected in their party who's like, we're going to annex Gaza, which is the reverse of all of those things. It's the inverse, it's the opposite. And they're all telling you why that's good. Okay? Or if you prefer the inverse, you have the Democrats who are always voting against the oligarchy, against the 1%, against a marriage of finance and state. I mean, that's what they'll tell you. But then you have USAID getting gutted, and you have them telling you why that's a bad thing. So, like, the problem is that no matter what the party does, the adherents are going to support it. And that's bad. That's really fucking bad, because that means that there's no critical thinking involved in their position, and there's not even beliefs, there's not even a moral or an ethic involved. It's literally they're towing a fucking party line. People's beliefs will be entirely malleable to whatever their leaders, whatever their fucking masters tell them to believe. And that's not good, because then it means you have an entire citizenry that is not thinking for themselves, which is of course incredibly dangerous, and B, is constantly blaming their fellow American for all of their problems, which is of course, it's divide and conquer. It's clearly what we're looking at. You have pictures of Donald Trump and Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton hugging and kissing and, sharing a plate of pasta together, and then they kiss at the end. They're all on the Epstein flight logs. They all donate money to Israel. They all shake hands with Benjamin Netanyahu. And it's not just Israel. I mean, it's other stuff too. They're all, what is it, Yum Foods, PepsiCo. They're all beholden to lobbies that want to stagnate wages and tax Social Security and fuck you and fuck your parents and fuck your kids. That's who leads you. That's who runs you. That's who rules over you. And it's a uniparty. And the reason two parties exist is because so one can be in charge and one can be in opposition to the other one, so that when things are going shitty and there's a party in control, you have another one to look to, and you can vote it out. And that it's like a pressure release valve that keeps Americans from enacting change, because you've given them an artificial change that they can install every 4 years and feel good about it, and then feel optimistic. Because if you don't have optimism, then you're fucked. You know, because if people are afraid or angry at their government and they feel like there's nothing that they can do democratically, then they do the non-democratic things to fix it. Okay? Well, go ahead and let you fill in the blanks on what that means. But what I'm telling you is that there are no two parties. There is just the plastic baby steering wheel on your side of the car, so you can feel like you're helping mommy, while nothing changes and while nothing is better. So there's that. Okay, so there's this is pacifying you so that you don't enact any kind of real change, so you don't actually do anything to make the country any different, because it's run by an oligarchic marriage of corporate interest and government interest, because of lobbying and things like that. That doesn't want you to do anything about it, so it's enacted two artificial parties. So that's a problem. That's a problem in itself. But there's also like a spiritual, political issue with it, because it's founded this fucking nasty thought process in American people, where you have prescribed a way to feel about something before you know what it is, which is fucked up. Don't be like that. Like, don't, like, process data, look at policy, or anything, or a proposed policy, or even just look at a problem that doesn't even have a policy ascribed to it. Look at an issue before you even see prescribed solutions, and then think critically about it, about what you want, about what you think we should do. Don't fucking have someone tell you this is our solution, and then you have to come up with reasons why you believe it's a good idea. That's fucking crazy. There is no other place in your life where that's how you think critically. Okay? And I mean, it goes further than that, because these parties aren't even aligned in a left-right way. Like, if you look at, like, Europe, which, I mean, in Europe it's the same problem, but at least it's kind of come about a little bit more organically, because the logic, like, these party policies, like in the Republican Party or the Democrat Party, the party policies along the party line are not morally or ethically or even logically consistent. They're not an organically left-wing or right-wing party or anything. I mean, wings is bullshit too, I think. But, like, I don't know. It's not how an individual, like, if you took an individual and they came all to political conclusions across the board based on, like, the type of guy they are, these aren't the positions they'd have. Not either of the parties, because they're not real. And I think that has something to do with it too. You know, it's just jumbling people's brains up and shit. It's just, neither of them are consistent. Neither of them are real. And that's all by design. You gotta snap out of it. You know? You can't just be like, yeah, we're still giving billions to Israel, but you know, we still don't have clean drinking water, and wages are still stagnated, and young people don't have jobs, and the education system is a scam, but at least the guy's tie is red? What the fuck are you thinking? What is happening with you? Don't do that. Don't be that guy. this shit needs to die. Like, it needs to go away. This party stuff, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, are not in your best interests. I think we all kind of know that now. And that's a problem, is because the propaganda of it is so deep. It's like we all know it. We all do, because everybody I talk to is like, like when I'm at work and I talk on the job site with guys about politics, they'll all say the same shit. Like, yeah, I mean, you've seen this shit in like newspaper cartoons from like the 30s or the 20s. I mean, it's all, or like on a sitcom. Dad will say something like, "Yeah, they're all crooks. It's all, who do you want fucking you in the ass? There's nothing you can do about it. Voting ain't gonna make a difference because they're all a bunch of crooks, But then, a guy will say something like that, and then somebody will be like, they'll come up upon somebody who is not doing that rhetoric, and they're like, well, but what about, Kamala Harris says this, and they'll be like, well, Trump he's better because, like, it's like a crab in a bucket thing. It's like a fucking, it's like contagious. Like, one person will do it and then the other person will get reactively like into it. It's so deep and so gripping. I find myself guilty of it because that's the problem, is you have two guys who are so different, so supposedly diametrically opposed. You're going to automatically like one more than the other, like, no matter what. Like, it's going to happen. It's like human nature to pick, to choose one or the other. And that's cool. I don't give a fuck if you like one or the other more or whatever. And I'm not even telling you not to vote necessarily, I guess. But like I am telling you not to identify with these parties, because they're not identifying with you. They don't like you. They don't have your best interest in mind. And also, they don't share your beliefs, okay? If you really search in your soul, in your heart, in your chest, in yourself, you're going to find that you're not a Republican. You're not a Democrat, okay? If you're a liberal, you're not in line, on board with all the things the Democratic Party does. If you're a Republican, you're not. If you're a conservative, you're not on board with all the, like, I'm not telling you to be like a centrist or like a reach across the aisle guy, which, I mean, you should be a reach across the aisle guy, I'm not telling you to be a centrist, though. I mean, you can have whatever political beliefs you want, and that's what I'm saying, is that you should. Whatever the ones inside of you are, whatever the conclusions you come to after fucking thinking and like processing information on your own, those are your political opinions. Those are the ones you should have, not the ones you're told to by people by fucking millionaires who hate you. Because they hate you. They all do. They all hate you. They all hate me. And you should probably stop sucking their dicks. Like, I don't know. Dude, you got like fucking Trump just talking about how tariffs are a good idea. And maybe they are. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But you got Trump talking about the tariffs and how they're great, and then you had every Democrat talking about how they were terrible, and then you had Biden talking about implementing them, and all of a sudden Democrats didn't think they were terrible. It's like shit like that. It's really just like, look over there. It's like close-up magic, sleight of hand. That's what it all is. And you're falling for it. And we're all falling for it. Because it's easy to fall for. Because it's set up for you to fall for, because I'm telling you, this is a scam. It's always been a scam. It's been set up to be a scam. I mean, that's why there are only two parties, why there isn't a third one or a fourth one. Because two is perfect. It's the closest we can get to one without being one. It's just an on and off switch. I mean, that's all Donald Trump is. It's like, and I think that's how it works in America specifically, is that the Democratic Party is the party is like that's the party, right? And then the Republican Party is like at least this is how it functions right now. I mean, I guess in other parts of history, probably parts of the history before I was alive, it was different. But I'm telling you how it functions right now is that the Democratic Party is like the real only party. What you see is what you get for the most part with them. I mean, they kind of just read the pulse of the people, and I guess for a while there, people were like, they wanted the whole equity and inclusivity and not even DEI, but just like, you know, the flowery good guy speech of the feel-gooderies of, you know, justice. That was their thing. And then if that shit pisses Johnny blue collar six pack off enough, then they have a little pressure release valve you can switch, and it calms him the fuck down, and that's the Republican Party. It's just like, shit, he's getting a little too mad that we're spending billions of dollars on these bogus programs and shit, so we can line our own pockets, and so we can fucking globalize the economy, so we can have one world economy. We better give him a guy who says he's gonna annex Canada. We better give him that guy for 4 years, so he'll shut the fuck up and let us get back to business. And that's what it is, you know. And I mean, it works both ways, because obviously now Trump's president and a bunch of people are losing their minds that he's the Antichrist. I mean, it's pretty impressive, the victim complexes both these people have, really. And don't get me wrong, you should be freaking out, you should be upset about the political system, because it's evil, and it hates you, and it exists entirely to fuck you. But again, because of this party thing, I get annoyed, I get irritated, because there are people who are freaking out now because Donald Trump is president, and it's like, you haven't been freaking out before, you know, like when Joe Biden was president, things were cool, were things good, you know, when the Ukraine is ceding land to Russia again. And we have like George W. Bush Hurricane Katrina shit happening again, where FEMA is telling dying Americans to just fuck off. Like that was all good. And now Donald Trump's president, and we have Redditors LARPing like they're fucking Anne Frank. Like, come on. We got people, or like fucking the eggs prices thing. We got people upset about eggs prices now. The fucking Democrats are like, eggs are too expensive. They've been too expensive since 2021. You only care now. The fuck? And I'm only harping on Democrats specifically because, like I said, fucking Trump is in office now. It's just what I'm looking at. I mean, there was the same fucking thing happened when Biden came to power, where all the Trump people, and Republicans in general, were like, now it's the end of the world. And it's like, fucking, you weren't freaking out a minute ago? You know? You weren't freaking out when private healthcare companies were dictating how you were allowed to go outside, or if you were allowed to go outside your own house? And we had a president who's just like, there's just nothing I can do about it. And, you know, oh, fuck, I lost my train of thought here a little bit. But yeah, my point is that it's, you know, it's not shit you want. It's not what shit needs to be. And that's another Band-Aid you gotta rip off right away, is that this is all intentional, okay? This is all fake. And it's all on purpose. The people who run you, who rule over you, who control you, are pure evil. All of them. Every last one of them. They're all friends. They're all in it together. They're all Skull and Bones, Bohemian Grove, Epstein Island, Moloch worshiping Satanists, man. They're all like pure evil. They might not literally be Satanists, okay? They might not meet in some smoky back room in black robes, but they're that evil. Like, it's an apt metaphor, assuming it's not actually literally true, which, you know what, it probably fucking is. Everybody who rules over you is pure fucking evil. All of the systems that we have now that are broken, that are fucked up, that are fucked and they're fucking you, are not because somebody is stupid. It's not like somebody incompetent put a system in place that they thought was going to be good for the American people and it failed. Because that's not a lot of the rhetoric I hear too. Baby boomers love that shit. Baby boomers love to be like, Biden's a fucking idiot. He thought that giving billions of dollars to the Ukraine would be good for people. No, he didn't. That's why he did it. He thought it would fuck you. He thought it would ruin you. He thought it would starve you out. He thought it would keep you from breeding, and it would make your children homeless and turn you into complete and total fucking slaves. He thought it would burn your life to the fucking ground. That's what he was hoping for. That's what Donald Trump's doing. That's what they're all doing. They want to ruin your fucking life, man. And they're succeeding. And they have succeeded. Your quality of life is, like, infinitely fucking worse than it was. Just like when I was a kid. If you took you from, like, people, and it happens gradually, and nobody has any long-term memory, and it's like the frog in the pot that you slowly turn to a boil. If you, from the 1990s, came to, if I'm talking, like, pretend you're a Gen Xer. You're not a Gen Xer if you're watching my fucking videos. You're probably younger than me. So you don't know this shit, I guess. But if you took a Gen X or a baby boomer from 1998, 1999, and put them right now, they would be like, this is fucking hell. This, like, oh my god, they would be like pulling their hair out and screaming. They'd be like, what the fuck is happening? They'd be in tears. They'd be crying. They would be panicking. They'd be freaking the fuck out. Yeah. And none of that is because... That necessarily cannot be because of incompetence, because we have two parties, and they go back and forth. I mean, if there was actual real politicians who weren't controlled by some big black entity that controls all of them and props them up like little dancing puppets, if that were the case, then at least one person between then and now would have gotten into a position of power and would have said to you, oh my fucking god, what is happening? Here's what we need to do to fix all of this. We need to fucking do something about predatory lending. We need to do something about the fact that our money is backed by nothing. We need to do something. Or something. They would have fucking freaked out. They would have said, we need to do something about lobbying. We need to do something about stagnating wages and rising housing costs and inflation. No one said any of these things. No one's pointing any of it out. No one's gonna, and that's because all these things are on purpose, and they're here to fuck you. Nobody in the government is incompetent. Not anybody in the bigger ups. Nobody's incompetent. Nobody's stupid. They all know exactly what they're doing, and this is all on purpose. It could all be fixed tomorrow. It could all be fixed today. There's been moments in history where people have had economic revolutions when it was somebody who really wasn't supposed to get into power, got there and fixed everything right away. It's happened, if you just do the right things. And they know what they are. This isn't a guessing game. Like I said, all the shit I just listed. You get rid of lobbying. You get rid of predatory interest rates. You would see a huge difference overnight. But the two things that those two things have in common is that they're set up by the people who actually control you. Okay? PepsiCo? Google, look into that. Just do some reading about PepsiCo and what is it, Yum Foods or something like that. Read about that. There's a lot of stuff you should read about. There's a lot of stuff I should read about. But yeah, so two-party system, get out of it, stop that shit, stop sucking off Donald Trump when he tells you we're going to invade Gaza, that we're going to be taking home Palestinians, we're going to be bringing in more Palestinians because Israel doesn't want to live next to them because Israel has said that they're too violent or evil or whatever. Those people who have just been trying to live in their own homes, Now they got to be your neighbors because they're incompatible with Israel's way of life, and Donald Trump's on board with that. Don't stop defending that. Knock it off, okay? There's no 5D fucking chess move coming. It's a 1D move, and the move is do evil shit and have your moron followers apologize for it. That's the move. And yeah, it is. It's 5D chess because it's working great. Because here you are. Here you are, fucking sucking him off. Stop it. Fucking stop doing this shit, man. We're all gonna die, or worse, we're all gonna be fucking cattle. You know. You gotta fucking become vigilant and fix your politics. You gotta stop doing what your party tells you. You gotta stop believing in a party. You gotta stop believing in Republican or Democrat, because you're not one. Either of them. And again, I'm not saying ascribe to a specific political ideology. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm not telling you to change your positions necessarily. I'm telling you to actually have your own. Just that small little thing, even if you disagree with my political opinions, are going to change everything. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of stuff I wanted to say. Here, I'm going to say it anyway. Another reason I know that this shit is evil is because you can see how the way people react. Like, I see, like, Republicans are in charge now, and I can see Democrats, like, just openly, this isn't a conspiracy theory, this isn't an insinuation I'm making, this is stuff that they're literally saying, and I'm just hearing. They're, like, rooting for America to fail, for your quality of life, my quality of life, and their own quality of lives to be worsened, because it would mean they're right. You know? You see that shit both sides of the aisle all the time, but I'm seeing Democrats doing it right now because the Republicans in charge. But you see that. You see them wanting bad to happen because it vindicates them. Think about how fucking insane that is. Think about how reprehensible and insane and disgusting that fucking really, really is. Because the whole point of politics is to try to make the world better. Okay? Half the time, if you have political beliefs, you should be hoping you're wrong, because you're, at least half the time, because you're not getting your fucking way. You know what I mean? All the stuff I'm saying right now, I hope is fucking wrong, because it's pretty dire what I'm saying. You see what I mean? If you're, like, you've engineered politics completely backwards. You're supposed to do what you think is right for people of the world, and then hope their lives get better. And that's not what people do. They choose a team, and then they hope everybody who is wrong is fucked, and that's crazy. I don't want to listen to, like, that's how you, at the very least, that's how you know somebody is wrong, and that you shouldn't listen to them, is that if they're actively hoping for despair and fucking death and hardship. Like, what's the point of your politics then? What is the point of any politics if you're like, I want bad things to happen? That's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. Like accelerationism, you've heard about that, right? It's often a left-wing thing, but it's a far-right thing too, where you want shit to get really bad because then that radicalizes people into installing your specific pet ideology. I mean, think about how fucking crazy that is. Like, really dissect the insanity of that you want life to get bad because your pet ideology needs to be in place. Not because you want the best for people, because obviously you fucking don't. You're rooting for hardship, death, despair. Like, wouldn't the best political ideology be like, I hope shit just goes well? Like, I hope shit just is okay? Not, we need communism, or we need fascism, or libertarianism, or whatever. I don't know. Think for yourself, man. Think for yourself. You don't hate your politicians enough. Start hating your politicians. Stop worshiping them. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, if you're a liberal, was a traitor to you. She hated you. She was a fucking megalomaniac glory hog. Donald Trump is a fucking New York insider billionaire. If you're a Republican, he hates you. Wake the fuck up and have a good day. Love you. Bye.